I, 23 Mel, was born in the US, but I was adopted as a baby by my parents who are from Thailand, and I've lived there all my life. I'm very lucky because my life is great here. I have a great English tutoring job, a great family, my parents and my little sister, and also a fantastic wife, 23, and newborn twin daughters. Recently, through Facebook, my bio parents reached out to me. I don't know how they found me, but they did. They said they would really like to meet me and for me to meet their kids in the US. I've honestly feared this day my whole life because I didn't know how to respond. So I talked to my wife and my family to see what I should do. Finally, I decided that if they wanted to meet me, they would have to come to Thailand instead of me going there because they were the ones who gave me up. So if they really wanted to have a relationship with me, that would help prove that they actually wanted to. I won't lie, it would be expensive to get here. Their flights are about $1,500 each, so $3,000 if my bio parents just come, or $7,500 if my bio siblings also come. So they said they couldn't afford it and it would be cheaper for me to come to them, which is true, but I want them to make an effort. Then I get a message from what I guess is my bio aunt cussing at me about how I should just fly to the US to meet my real family so I could be where I belong. I asked her what she meant by that, and she went on about it's where my real family is and how America would be a better place to be than Thailand because it's a third world country, which made me pretty mad. So I told her that if she thought the US was a better place, why didn't she adopt me instead and some other things. Then my bio parents got angry and started messaging me about that, so I just stopped talking to them for now. However, my aunt wasn't wrong about Thailand technically being a third world country, but I've been to the US once a year and a half ago with my little sister and wife. I think Thailand is a better country for me even though I'm not originally from here. It's the place I want to be, especially now that I have kids because it's a lot cheaper here. For example, I make $1,250,000 baht, which is only $36,000 a year, which isn't a lot in the US, but here our house, 4-bedroom, 4-bath with a nice pool, only costs 5.6 million baht, $162,000. The biggest thing is healthcare since we have kids, and healthcare here is either free or extremely cheap compared to the US, so I have no reason to live where I belong. I think I'm in the right for wanting my bio parents and family to come here instead of me going there, even though it costs more for them, but I don't know. I will revisit the US sometime when our twins are older because it was a nice place when I went there, but no plans to move there. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Why would you want to invest your limited income in visiting a family who abandoned you and then called you 20+ years later only to scold you? Family is more than blood. If they want to meet you, that's on them. Unfortunately, their behaviour makes them seem insufferable. I'd be reluctant to meet them at all. Hold your ground and make them come to you. Yeah, have they even offered to pay for you to come to them? Even if they did, I can't imagine a long flight with 2 newborns. I wouldn't go at this point. You haven't been their son for over 20 years, and what they said about your country is outright rude. Stay home with your wife and kids. Your bio aunt is a jerk. You are with your real family. Your bio family are strangers who know nothing about you or your life. They don't get to dump you when they didn't want you and then snap their fingers for you to come running now that they do. And are you even sure they are the right people? Also, before you meet bio parents, I strongly recommend counselling to discuss precisely these issues, such as what do you hope or fear from the meeting? How will it change your life? What if they turn out to be unpleasant? And so on. Shame on them that they barged in like that without giving you a chance to go through the process. If you don't want anything to do with them, don't talk to them. You owe them nothing. I, female 32, got a private text this morning from the mother of my son's pre-tween classmate. She told me that my son has been calling her daughter's traditional lunch weird and things as such, and apparently that makes her daughter feel uncomfortable and insecure. She asked me to please talk to my son about being more sensitive and respectful so her daughter doesn't feel excluded. Now, I feel for this woman as a fellow mother. No one wants to see their child sad, but overcoming insecurities is a big part of growing up. Additionally, I thought it was ridiculous of her to criticize my young son for making relatively innocuous and curious comments about food that's not familiar to him. He's at a curious age and is discovering the world, and I refuse to try and limit him and shut him down for not having the emotional sensitivity of an adult. Politely, I told her I was sorry her daughter was struggling with insecurities. I found some online parenting articles about building your child's confidence to send to her so she could use some tips to help her daughter out. She replied that I was acting completely shamelessly and disgracefully, and I could no longer text her. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Teaching your kid to be respectful of others' choices is not shutting him down. It's literally part of your job as the parent to, parent. She didn't ask for punishment. Instead, she asked you to talk to him and explain how his comments can hurt other people. He's at an age where he exactly needs to learn that. You should help him reflect on the impact of his behavior. That is called parenting, not punishment. Parenting requires effort. She wants a little roommate. While OP's son shouldn't have the emotional sensitivity of an adult, the little girl should learn how to deal with insecurities. How curious. Isn't it interesting that overcoming insecurities is a big part of growing up, but when it's her kid, it's ridiculous to criticize? And of course, the female child should have the emotional maturity to put up with being harassed by the male. Boys will be boys, after all. Being respectful is also part of growing up. It looks like OP skipped those lessons in her own schooling. She could join her son in primary school to revisit basic courtesy. Yeah, teach your son better words to use. That looks different, what is it? Or, your lunch is interesting, what's it called? There is a fine line between being curious and being rude. Teach him not to be rude. Teach him not to use words like weird when looking at someone's food. Her daughter does not need lessons on confidence. Your son needs a lesson on cultural differences. Parent your child. It was incredibly condescending of you to send parenting articles to another parent. She made a polite request of you, and you implied she doesn't know how to parent. That was out of line, and you should apologize. I dated Olivia for 2 years. The breakup was mutual, and we stayed close friends. My girlfriend now, Josie, isn't a huge fan of me being friends with Olivia, but is working towards accepting it with her therapist. The big thing is both of them come from different backgrounds. Olivia's mom is a nurse practitioner, and her dad's a lawyer, so financially her life has been good. Also, she was the only child, so she received a lot of attention. Josie grew up in poverty, and both her parents passed away when she was super younger. Her oldest brother was her main guardian, but a lot of her teen years she spent working so she could survive for herself. Josie admits she gets jealous when Olivia talks about her life or when I start worrying about Olivia's mental health. Josie and her friend were discussing colleges. Olivia attends one of the top 20 schools, while Josie attends a community college. I'm proud of Olivia for getting in. Well, Josie and her friend started talking about the kids who get in because their parents usually have a lot of money. I got the sense Josie was talking about Olivia. She said she wasn't, but realistically students like Olivia have more opportunities and resources that will help them get admitted compared to kids like herself, who are either working or at school. I told her Olivia worked really hard to get into that school. Josie said she knows that, but she's just saying it's easier to do extracurricular and volunteer hours when you don't have to worry about how you'll afford groceries. I told her she was jealous of Olivia again, and it was getting really sad at this point. The admission team clearly saw something in her that got her accepted beyond her social class, and if Josie had balanced her time better, she could have made it in a school like that. Josie left in tears with her friends. Am I the idiot? Lashing out at your current girlfriend to defend your ex, who she hadn't insulted directly, by accusing her of being jealous and blaming her for not balancing her time while she had to support herself as an orphan? Seriously? Yes, her older brother cared for her, but she had no parents, i.e. an orphan. So yes, you blamed an orphan for not managing their time better, as a teenager while working to put food on the table. You are totally the idiot. She deserves better than to be treated like this, and you should totally express to your girlfriend that you're proud of her for going to community college. Considering her background, that is an achievement worthy of praise. She is not letting her circumstances keep her down and is just as admirable as getting into a good college. I'm worried about Olivia's mental health. Barf. This guy wishes he was still with rich Olivia instead of the poor orphan who didn't go to a great college. How often do you bring up Olivia to your girlfriend? The fact that she has to be in therapy to be okay with it makes me wonder if Josie isn't the issue. You're the idiot here for 1,000 different reasons. First, I'm far more impressed with an orphan who gets through community college than a lawyer's daughter who gets through an Ivy League school. Who defends their ex when their current girlfriend talks about how wealthy colleges reward privilege? Someone who still wishes they were with their ex. Yesterday, I, 20 female, was driving to school and I ran out of gas in the middle of the road. Basically, my car just stalled. I knew I needed gas on Monday, but I just kept forgetting to stop. I also forgot my phone and I had no idea what I would do, so honestly, my reaction to stressful situations is just to cry to clear my head so I can think. I guess I didn't realise that because I was in the middle lane, I caused a pretty big backup, which made me more stressed, and I was crying because I didn't know how to get out of the predicament. These really nice guys in a construction truck pulled up next to me and asked if I needed help. I said yes. Not only did they push my car out, but they also gave me a ride to the gas station and even paid for my gas and the little tank thingy, and then gave me a ride back and then even followed me to the gas station to make sure I made it safely. They were literally the nicest group of guys I'd ever met. They refused to take any money or let me buy them lunch or anything. When I told my brother about what happened, he said I had a long line of making stupid decisions, but I can't be this big of an idiot to get in a car with strange men. I said this is his natural negativity when I'm positive. He said if our dad found out about this he was going to be angry, and I was ignorant for putting myself at risk and an idiot. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You ran out of gas because you forgot to fill up. You forgot your phone. You didn't try to get help despite the extremely dangerous situation of blocking traffic. Then you blindly got in a car with strangers. Girl, you have the executive function and decision-making skills of someone who absolutely should not be driving a 1-ton automobile around other people. I don't know how people can forget to fill up a gas tank to the point they run out in the middle of a road. And not to forget those many people who didn't make it to an important appointment or meeting in time, or those in a medical emergency trying to get to the hospital or an ambulance trying to reach someone. People like her are just completely living in a bubble of self-importance. You were an idiot for allowing yourself to endanger and inconvenience an entire 3-lane highway because you were too forgetful and foolish to get gas a week ago. And you didn't deal with it at all. You couldn't have. You didn't even have a phone. You just sat there being useless and crying until a saint in a truck dealt with literally all of it. I realize you are only 20, but you must get a grip and grow up fast. You're a danger to yourself and others. You should be ashamed. Yeah, no gas, no phone, crying in the middle lane until a big strong man saved you. You acted like a grotesque stereotype of the helpless little woman. I'm sorry, my dear, but you must get it together. I'm 21 female and I have a roommate, Tasha, 20 female. Tasha has a lot of mental health issues and has trouble leaving our apartment for appointments, so she makes online therapy appointments. Unfortunately, we live in a one-room studio, so because of doctor-patient confidentiality, I have to leave the apartment whenever she's having her appointments. The main problem is Tasha won't tell me about these appointments until 10 or so minutes before they start. I'll just be doing something random and then she'll turn to me and go, "Oh, by the way, I have therapy in 10 minutes. I'll have to get all my stuff and go somewhere on that short notice. She has ADHD and can be really forgetful, so I understand it on some level, but it's pretty inconvenient. The appointments aren't on a consistent or set schedule, so I can't predict when they're going to happen and plan either. This has happened 5+ times. The last time this happened, about 2 weeks ago, I sat Tasha down and explained that she needs to give me at least 24 hours notice before her appointment so I can plan. I said it's very inconvenient to pack up all my stuff and get out within 10 minutes, especially when I'm in the middle of an assignment or something. I warned her that if it happened again, I wouldn't be leaving and she'd have to find somewhere else to have her appointment. She apologized and said she'd set alarms so she remembered, and I thought that was the end of it. But lo and behold, it happened again this morning. Tasha told me that she had therapy in 10 minutes and she forgot to set the alarms. Per our talk 2 weeks ago, I told her that I wouldn't be leaving the room. She started arguing with me and said it was just this once. It wouldn't kill me to go to a cafe or something for a couple of hours. I was working on an assignment and couldn't concentrate anywhere but the apartment, so I still refused to leave. Eventually, she just took her laptop and stomped out of the apartment to try and find a place. But 20 minutes later, she came back and blew up at me, saying that she couldn't find a private place to have her appointment, so she had to cancel it. And because she cancelled on such short notice, she wouldn't get her money back. She yelled at me, saying I wasn't being understanding of her ADHD, and it wasn't her fault she was forgetful, and I was being petty and ableist over nothing. I reminded her that I warned her this would happen, but she wasn't having it and has now refused to speak to me for hours. So I just thought I'd come here and get more opinions on if I was the idiot. Not the idiot. You also pay rent, so you have equal rights. And 10 minutes warning means she doesn't respect your time or your schedule. I'm assuming her therapist gave her tips and recommendations on coping with her ADHD so that she can still have a productive life. Even after your warning, she's still not making adjustments, so she's making her problem into your problem. This is not you being ableist, it's you setting boundaries and expectations and her showing that she's incapable or unwilling to respect them. She can sit in the bathtub, no water, with her laptop on her lap, and close the bathroom door if she wants privacy at the last minute. Otherwise, plan ahead. Therapy appointments are scheduled in advance, so she has plenty of time to tell you about this one. She had 2 weeks to give you notice, and she didn't. So now she has to pay for an appointment. These are the consequences of her actions. Her ADHD isn't her fault, but it is her responsibility. That isn't being ableist. It's being realistic. Also, I wonder what kind of therapy she has where OP would need to be out of the room for a couple of hours every week or so. Girl, your roommate sucks. You pay rent and are 100% allowed to use your living space without being evicted randomly with little notice. Consider whether you should continue living together. If you have other options, consider them.